Please remain standing for the presentation of the colors. The colors will be presented by the United States Marine Corps Color Guard. The Color Guard participants are Sergeant Perez Diaz, Sergeant Movavek, Corporal Quintana, and Corporal Ritter. After the colors have been posted, Senator Lee will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Senator Lee, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, please, and guests, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Members and guests, please help me honor our United States Marine Corps in the presentation of the colors. Pursuant to the Constitution and the laws of the state of Colorado, I hereby call to order this second regular session of the Colorado Senate of the 73rd General Assembly of the state of Colorado. You may have noticed we have a new addition to our team. Ms. Cole, will you please call the roll?
Senators Bridges, Buckner, Coleman, Cook, Coram, Danielson.
Here.
Donovan, Fenberg, Fields, Gardner, Janal, Gonzalez,
Presente.
Hanson, Heisey, Holbert, Jaquez Lewis, Kirkmeyer, Kolker, Lee, Liston, Lundeen,
Good morning.
Moreno, Pedersen, Priola, Rankin, Rodriguez, Scott, Simpson, Smallwood, Sonnenberg, Story, Winter, Woodward, Zenzinger. Mr. President,
Here. With 35 present, 0 absent, 0 excused, we have a quorum. The next order of business will be the election of the Senate Secretary. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the wonderful Cindy Markwell be elected as the Secretary of the Senate for the second regular session of the 73rd General Assembly.
You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and Ms. Cindy Markwell is elected as the Secretary of the Senate. Ms. Markwell, will you please join me so that I might administer the oath of office? I state your name.
I, Cindy Markwell,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the constitutions
that I will support the constitutions
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Colorado,
and the state of Colorado,
and faithfully perform
and faithfully perform
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
to which I am duly elected
to which I am duly elected
to the best of my abilities,
to the best of my abilities,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Committees to notify the governor and the House. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that a committee be appointed to notify the House that the Senate is organized and ready for business.
Is there any objection? Seeing none, Senator Story, Senator Bridges, and Senator Sonnenberg are being appointed to the committee to notify the House that the Senate is organized and ready for business. You are excused. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that a committee be appointed to notify the governor that the Senate is organized and ready for business.
Is there any objection? Seeing none, Senators Hawkes Lewis, Donovan, and Cook are appointed to the committee to notify the governor that the Senate is organized and ready for business. You are excused. The Senate will stand in recess until the committee's return. Members, the House Committee on Representatives with Representatives Judah, Ricks, and Van Winkle are here to present to you before the Senate, so you are recognized. Representative Judah.
The House is open and ready for business. What did we say? They didn't tell us.
Representative Ricks.
Hey, we're way more fun.
Good morning, everyone. We're glad to see you, and today is opening day. We're ready to do business, and we hope you are too.
No addressing the presiding. No addressing the presiding officer. The House must have some.
guys, don't be jealous.
The House members, both Judah and Ricks, will be fined. I don't know that I could really hold you to that fine, but you will be fined by the Senate $1 each. Representative Van Winkle.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I hope some of their friends will be able to cover that fine for them. And it is so nice being here. It's actually very quiet and like peaceful. It's very strange to me, but good to be here. Sorry to wake you up, Larry. And the House is ready to go. So bring it on.
Representative Van Winkle will be fined $1 for referring to a senator by name and not from their district. With that, sergeants, please remove these representatives from the Senate chamber. The Senate will continue to stand in recess until we have notification from the governor. The Senate will come back to order. The senators have returned from notifying the governor. Will you please inform us of Senator Hawkins Lewis.
Thank you, Mr. President, colleagues, and guests. We have met with the governor and had a lovely but very brief conversation. We talked about hope for this year, and he wished us luck. So we will need it. That's right.
Senator Cook.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, we did meet with the governor, and I told him that the Republican caucus is looking forward to working with him, and he said 120 days is too long, and that I moved that we sign he died because that motion is always in order. So, any chance, Mr. President? Then I'll withdraw that motion.
Thank you, Senators, for notifying the governor that we are absolutely ready for work. With that, the next order of business is introduction and consideration of resolutions. Ms. Cole, will you please read the title to SJR 001 concerning the Officer of Employees of the General Assembly?
Senate Joint Resolution 1 by Senators Fenberg and Representatives Mullica concerning the officers and employees of the second regular session of the 73rd General Assembly.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of Senate Joint Resolution 1 regarding the officers and employees of the General Assembly.
The motion is for the adoption of the Senate Joint Resolution 001. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, that motion is adopted. Co-sponsors. Mr. Minority Leader. Ms. Cole, will you please read the title to SR 001 concerning the officers of employees of the Senate?
Senate Resolution 1 by Senators Fenberg, Garcia Holbert, concerning the appointment of officers and employees of the Senate convened in the second regular session of the 73rd General Assembly.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of Senate Resolution 1 concerning the officers and employees of the Senate.
The motion is for the adoption of SR 001. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, that motion is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senators Moreno, Cook, Donovan, Hanson, Scott, Bridges, will the committee that notified the House please present themselves before the Senate? Senator Story.
Thank you, Mr. President. We did go over and visit the House, and they were horsing around as usual. But we waited and waited, and they still couldn't get their act together. And so we finally just took to the mic, let them know that we were organized and ready for business. And they continued horsing around, and they may be there all day.
Senator Bridges. Senator Sonnenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, we indeed went over there. They didn't even know how to gavel in to let us speak, so they just said, go to the mic, speak, and then move on. And I tell you what, talk about chaos. They were in recess while we were over there, and those kids could not come out of the sandbox. So with that, we are ready. I'm ready to take naps while we wait on them. So thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Bridges.
Thank you, Mr. President. They talk, and they're having so much fun over there. Don't they know this is serious business? This is the legislature. I don't really think they're ready to go, but they said they were, and we let them know that we are ready, and that's what really matters. We in the Senate are ready to get down to business. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senators who notified the House, thank you for your work. Our next item on today's agenda will be committee appointments. Mr. Majority Leader.
Say committee appointments. Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I would request that Ms. Cole read the committee appointment letters for the Senate committees of reference.
Ms. Cole, will you please read the committee appointment letters?
Ms. Natalie Lumos, please be advised that Senator Sonia Hawkes Lewis will replace Senator Jesse Danielson both as a member and as the Vice Chair of the Senate Agricultural and Natural Resources Committee for the duration of the second regular session of the 73rd General Assembly, effective immediately. Sincerely, Leroy M. Garcia, Senate President. Ms. Natalie Lumos, please be advised that pursuant to Senate Rule 21A, I'm reducing the size of the Senate Business, Labor, and Technology Committee from 7 members to 5 members, with 3 from the majority party and 2 from the minority party for the duration of the second regular session of the 73rd General Assembly. Accordingly, Senator Jesse Danielson will be removed from the Senate Business, Labor, and Technology Committee. Sincerely, Stephen Fenberg, Senate Majority Leader. Ms. Natalie Lumos, please be advised that pursuant to Senate Rule 21A, I'm appointing Senator James Coleman as Vice Chair of the Senate Business, Labor, and Technology Committee effectively immediately. Sincerely, Stephen Fenberg, Senate Majority Leader. Dear Director Mullis, please be advised that due to the reduction of the number of members of the Senate Business, Labor, and Technology Committee, I'm removing Senator Kevin Priola from Senate BLT. Additionally, I'm permanently replacing Senator Paul Lindeen with Senator Kevin Priola on the Senate Finance Committee. These changes are effective immediately. Respectfully yours, Chris Holbert, Senate Minority Leader.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Are we doing speeches? What do you want to do? You want to go to you? You want to do speeches? Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate stand in recess to hear the remarks of the almighty Senator Garcia, the President of the Senate, and this other guy, Senator Holbert, the Senate Minority Leader.
Is there any objection? Seeing none, the Senate will stand in a recess. Tim, Mr. Majority Leader, and Mr. Minority Leader. Friends, loved ones, and honored guests, good morning and welcome to the Colorado Senate. It's an honor to be with you all here today as we find ourselves on day one of what promises to be a challenging yet rewarding 120 days. For those of you who have not heard the great news, the good senator from Wheat Ridge gave birth to a healthy baby boy, Callum, just a few weeks ago. Please join me in congratulating Senator Danielson, her husband Andy, and their daughter Isabella on their new addition to the family. Congratulations, Senator Danielson. This is the 4th time I've had the privilege of standing before you and addressing you on opening day as your Senate President, and I sincerely enjoyed working on this speech because it gave me the opportunity to reflect on all the things that we have endured together. Over the last 3 years, the challenges have been unprecedented, but so have our victories. We fought to lead Colorado's comeback to recover from the pandemic and made monumental investments in Colorado's affordability and resilience by cutting taxes for small businesses, improving our schools, expanding access to childcare, investing in rural communities, and developing our state's workforce. We worked together to modernize and update our misdemeanor sentencing laws, finding bipartisanship and agreement on a contentious issue where consensus is often hard to find. We have saved Coloradans thousands of dollars on their health care bills, finding innovative ways to cut costs, build transparency, and increase access for all. In the midst of the worst economic downturn in Colorado's history, our Joint Budget Committee moved mountains to pave the way for our economic recovery, while still crafting a budget that reflects the values that this state believes in. We have made crucial strides towards protecting the great outdoors our state is known for, so Coloradans today, tomorrow, and for generations to come can continue to enjoy them. I mention this not to take a victory lap, but because we convene today under the shadow of a prolonged period of statewide grief. Over the last few weeks, Aurora, Denver, Lakewood, and beyond have mourned the victims of gun violence. Our neighbors in Boulder County have started to rebuild after the fires reduced their homes to ashes. The pandemic's death toll keeps climbing, as does the rates of suicides and overdoses. It's easy for us to focus on what divides us rather than on the shared responsibility we each have to make sure that these tragedies become more than just headlines. They are calls to action. When the founders of this country put pen to paper, they predicted that the young nation was destined to exist as a perpetual works in progress, the dream of a more perfect union remaining permanently out of reach. We carry that mantle today, where we find ourselves in a building constructed as a monument to our founders' belief that the pursuit of progress is both noble and necessary. Our constituents sent us here so we could prove that those words are right, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges and unfathomable loss. And although our state, like the entire country, feels more divided than ever, Coloradans are united in their vision for their future. Whether home is a rental apartment in downtown Denver, a family farm nestled on the western slope, or a house on Pueblo's south side, every Coloradan wants and deserves many of the same things: a safe, reliable place to lay your head to rest, a stable income that allows you to provide for yourself and your family, a life free from violence and discrimination. While we have worked to make these things universal, far too many Coloradans have been left behind, and ultimately, we are here to change that and to do our part in making sure that every person is able to achieve the life and future they envision for themselves and their families. It has become somewhat of a tradition for the Senate President to declare on opening day that this upcoming session will be the most consequential in history. That declaration has never felt more appropriate as we begin the 2022 legislative session with a once-in-a-lifetime gift that puts the winds at our back as we choose to shape Colorado together. The American Rescue Plan Act has given us an opportunity that we never would have had thought possible just before. With hundreds of millions of dollars at our disposal, we have a one-time chance to create transformational change that Coloradans will feel for decades. Over the last several months, bipartisan groups of legislators met with experts to chart the future of this spending. And thanks to the dedication of our members who served on those task forces, we are going to spend the next 120 days making sure that we make every dollar count. We're going to make transformational change to drastically increase the supply of safe and affordable housing so Coloradans in every corner of the state can keep a roof over their head. We're going to stabilize our behavioral health system that has been stretched far too thin for far too long, so that our neighbors that struggle with mental health and substance abuse disorders can get the support that they need to stay safe. We are going to invest in our most important resource, our children, to make sure that they have education, training, and support that they need for a brighter future. We're going to support small businesses, grow our state's economy, and make sure that our recovery continues to lift up all Coloradans. We're going to make sure that the issues discussed around the kitchen tables in Pueblo and beyond, like public safety, affordability, student success, and more, are the issues that we discuss here at the Capitol. One of the most important lessons I've learned as a legislator is to make the most of every opportunity, because a second chance is never guaranteed. None of us know if Colorado will have an opportunity like the one we have today, to take Colorado leaps and bounds towards the dream of a brighter future. It's not an opportunity we will let go to waste. This opening day speech is my fourth and final of my tenure as Senate President. It is also the first of what will be a long list of last times that I will experience over the next 120 days. Each of us will eventually walk out of this chamber for a final time, and once we say goodbye to the Senate, our legacy won't be measured by the titles we collected or by our office size. Our legacy will be measured by the ways that Coloradans will feel the choices we made for the years to come, and the ways they experience what we do in this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It is the Colorado family that was able to pull themselves from the brink of homelessness and keep a roof over their head because we choose to invest in affordable housing. It's the small business owner who keeps their doors open and their employees on the payroll because we created programs that help them weather the storm. It is the young Coloradan who starts to put their mental health struggles in the rearview mirror because we worked together today to ensure that mental health and behavioral health care is available to anyone who is ready for it. It is the combat veteran who comes home from deployment and is able to enjoy the freedoms they fought to protect because we fight for them right here at the Capitol. It is the Latino kid who ensures that the first Latino Senate president is far from Colorado's last. Our legacy will be measured not by whether or not we resolve all of our problems in the next 120 days, but how we use the next 120 days to relentlessly pursue a more perfect Colorado. This session, especially as the demands of legislating puts us to the test, we cannot lose sight of the fact that Colorado's future gets brighter when we confront our challenges with the relentless optimism that better is possible only if we choose to make it the only possible outcome. Let's make that choice together. Before we move forward, I want to close by sharing my gratitude. We wouldn't be here today if it were not for the first responders, the doctors, the nurses, law enforcement, EMS professionals, and so many more who have made their mission to keep Colorado safe and healthy. We are indebted to them for their service. Please join me in acknowledging their service to this great state. I want to thank my boys, although I guess by now I should be calling them young men, Jeremiah and Zan, for their love and their support. I'm also grateful to my parents, to my friends, and to Pueblo. Thank you for putting your trust in me to represent our community. It has been an honor of a lifetime to serve. Know that I will continue to fight for a better future here at the Capitol and beyond. Majority Leader Fenberg, Minority Leader Holbert, thank you for your collaboration, your commitment to service, and your friendship. I'm incredibly fortunate to have such great partners in leadership. And colleagues, I want to share my gratitude to each and every one of you. This partnership had a little bit of a rocky start, as you might recall. However, 3 years later, this chamber has set an example for the rest of the country by leaving the partisan antics to Washington, D.C., so that we can focus on making the lives of Coloradans better. Members, together, let's get to work. Mr. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, Mr. Majority Leader, colleagues, families, and guests, to the people of Louisville, Superior, and unincorporated Boulder County who were affected by the Marshall Fire, we are truly sorry for your losses and the resulting stresses on your families and your community. To the first responders, firefighters, sheriff's deputies, police officers, EMTs, and others, thank you for risking everything to save what is left. To the American Red Cross and other charitable organizations, to local churches and private citizens who have contributed to the recovery, thank you. To the insurance industry, thank you for working quickly to connect with residents, some of whom have lost everything. And to the local, county, state, and federal officials who have worked to direct resources into the affected communities, thank you too. We are Colorado, and we will get through this together. 20 years ago, I stood outside that glass partition just behind where Senator Simpson's desk is and looked into this chamber with a sense of wonder. Who were the people who were privileged to stand here at this podium and speak to the issues? How did this process work? What lessons of the past did the walls of this magnificent chamber hold? Now at 60, I look back at my 40-year-old self standing out there wide-eyed and eager, and I am humbled by the honor and privilege it is to be in here, to learn from you, to learn from all of you, all of those who have served over the past 20 years. Today, I know so much more about public policy, about people, our unique legislative process, and this very special place. Colleagues, thank you for helping me to better understand the challenges of life in rural Colorado. Thank you for helping me understand the challenges of life in urban Colorado and in each of the communities that you represent. As a conservative, I know my own positions on freedom, liberty, and the proper role of government. As a legislator, my goal has been to be the most conservative member with whom you might work who holds a liberal arts degree. I am not offended if you happen to have positions that differ from my own. Maybe, just maybe, we can learn from each other. Colleagues, there's one member of this body who is starting his 16th general session. It is rare that the challenging geography and timing of State House and Senate districts allow a member to serve a full 8 years in the Colorado House of Representatives and then to serve a full 8 years in the Colorado Senate. Members and guests, would you please join me in recognizing the former Senate pro tempore of the Colorado Senate, the former chairman of the Senate Agriculture and Natural Resources Committee, the former chairman of the House Agricultural Committee, the current ranking member of the Senate Agricultural Committee, husband, father, grandfather, farmer, and friend, the good senator from Sterling, Colorado, Senator Jerry Sonnenberg. We also recognize those senators who are starting their final session in this chamber. Senators Cook, Scott, Mr. President Garcia, Madam President for a time Donovan, and myself. We are all affected by term limits, and Senators Coram and Lee will be leaving us a little bit earlier because of redistricting. All of you have contributed a significant portion of your life in service to the people of Colorado, and for that, thank you. One of the better opening day speeches that I recall was offered by then Senate Democratic leader Lucia Guzman, who told us about climbing a China berry tree in her yard as a child. I see some heads nodding. She and her brother each claimed a different limb of that tree as their own. Her brother's limb was less secure, but at the top of the tree. Her limb was more secure, but lower in the tree. When they were together in the tree, her brother would tell her what he could see from his higher vantage point. One day, Lucia climbed up that tree to see for herself. What she saw was different than how her brother had described it. Different perspectives are more than just good. They are golden. They are treasures. We come from different places and we see things differently. As with young Lucia at the top of that China berry tree, even when viewing the same thing from the same perspective, we might see things differently. If the past 20 years has taught me one thing, it is that we should not be offended by those differences. We should learn from them. 1 year ago, President Garcia and I stood before you and spoke of bipartisanship, collaboration, and the fact that no one party has a monopoly on good ideas. Since that time, 3 facts have become undeniable for most Coloradans. First, our state is less affordable than it was 1 year ago. Second, Colorado families are less safe than they were 1 year ago. And third, students are further behind than they were 1 year ago. People are increasingly aware that our current circumstances have evolved under one-party control. Over the past 2 years, people from throughout Colorado and across the political spectrum have demanded immediate action from us, and time after time, they have been met with the reality that we are a part-time, even seasonal, citizen legislature. We have the general session lawmaking authority for no more than 120 days each year, that we can make no law but by bill, and that there cannot be any bills considered unless we are convened in session. So here we are, some of us for our final 120-day session. Between now and midnight, Wednesday, May 11, Senate Republicans will focus on addressing these three issues, and we invite the support of the majority in addressing the needs of Coloradans. Affordability. Years of reckless spending in Washington, D.C. has driven inflation to a 30-year high, taking upwards of $3,500 out of the pockets of average working families this past year. Here in Colorado, our state government is awash in surplus state revenues and federal handouts, and yet my colleagues in the majority are adamant that our state government is confronted with a structural deficit. They're using that artifice to tax, fee, tariff, and toll their way to governmental prosperity. As a result, Coloradans are feeling the pain of those higher costs. The median home price in our state has grown 53% since 2016, yet there is a movement from some on the left to cease the building of new homes in our communities. When supply cannot keep up with demand, prices rise. And now our children are unable to buy a home in the state where they grew up. We need more multifamily owner-occupied housing in this state. We need greater opportunities for people of limited means to achieve the dream and long-term wealth-building opportunities of home ownership. Energy prices are also increasing anywhere from 10 to 50%. Analysis has shown that increased regulatory burden and consumer fees have had a direct impact on that rise. Those increases are due to increased legislation and fees that resulted from legislation passed by this body. Those bills, now laws, came straight from this floor under one-party control. 73% of Coloradans consider the cost of living to be very serious or an extremely serious problem. That number increases to 81% among Black Coloradans and 83% among Hispanic Coloradans. Republicans hear you, and we will continue to fight for you. Senate Republicans will introduce legislation to help lower the cost of living in Colorado. Senator Woodward will sponsor a bill to allow struggling Coloradans to deduct their rent from their income taxes. Senator Woodward will also introduce legislation to allocate a portion of our state government's historic revenue windfall to the Unemployment Insurance Trust Fund to help bring down costs for employers and keep them hiring during these difficult times. Senator Heisey will sponsor legislation to ensure that all food is exempted from sales taxes, whether it be from a grocery store or from a local mom-and-pop restaurant. And I will introduce a bill to allow licensed or registered professionals who are in good standing in another state and who move here to more efficiently begin doing business and adding to the Colorado economy. On the topic of crime, Colorado communities are suffering from some of the highest crime rates in 25 years. In 2020, we saw a 6.5% increase in violent crimes, an 18% increase in aggravated assaults, and a 29% increase in homicides. More than 300 people were murdered in this state just last year. In addition, Colorado now sits number 2 in the nation when it comes to per capita car thefts, second only to Washington, D.C. When elected leaders are hesitant to condemn the anarchists who attacked our state capitol, when law enforcement officers are villainized in the press by their own elected officials, and when criminals are rapidly allowed back onto our streets, what did you expect would happen? In 2019, many of us worked together to advance police reform in this state. Thank you. We stood for ending chokeholds. We stood for body cameras. And we worked to get bad officers off the street. But now we ask that you join us in ensuring that our families are safe in their communities. Black Coloradans are just over 4% of our population, yet they make up 13% of all crime victims. Every moment that goes by without us taking action to put an end to this crime wave is an injustice. To that end, to secure our streets, Senator Cook will introduce legislation to establish grant programs to hire more police officers who are better trained and who come from the very communities that they would be patrolling. Education, the third topic. Injustice doesn't just occur between criminals and victims. The government education monopoly, failing for decades in the realm of mediocrity, now escapes any measure of adequacy. That choice of one system has failed generations of Colorado students, and the majority party has even failed to even sound the alarm. In fact, when Senate Republicans encouraged the governor to call a special session in order to address growing concerns among parents about the education of their children during the COVID pandemic, our request was dismissed by the controlling political party as a political stunt. Well, the outcome of school board elections in 2021 was no stunt and rather clearly demonstrates that parents are fed up with the status quo. Intense debates rage nationally over educational issues such as sex ed, critical race theory, even the role of school resource officers. None of that matters if we aren't even teaching our kids how to read, write, and do math. You want them to read Ibram X. Kendi? Great. I might want them to read John Locke. But as of today, the looming problem is that many students can't read. Over 50% of students in grade 3, 5, and 7 are not meeting grade level expectations in both English and mathematics. The high school graduation rate in Colorado ranks 41st in the nation. And those that go on to college, more than a third require remedial education. States are different, based primarily on the unique state constitution of each state. Here in Colorado, Article 9, Section 15 of our state constitution makes clear that locally elected school boards have control of instruction in the public schools located within that district. Colorado courts have held that in order to have control over instruction, a local school board must also have control over its budget. That's why here in this state, we in the state legislature do not determine how much teachers are paid. Nope. Here in Colorado, that authority is delegated to the locally elected school board in each of the 178 school districts. Article 9, Section 16 of the Colorado Constitution makes clear that we here in the General Assembly have no authority over which textbooks are used or not used in a local school district. Nope. That authority is also delegated to each of those locally elected school boards. When it comes to how public schools are funded, each state can allocate and track total funding in different ways. Here in Colorado, in some of the 178 school districts, as much as 2/3 of their total funding does not come from or through this building. For those of us who serve in the Colorado General Assembly, our highest and best purpose when it comes to public education is to see that those 178 school districts receive as much state funding as we can send their way so that those elected officials can accomplish their constitutional responsibilities. To that end, Senators Lundeen and Kirkmeyer will introduce legislation to finally abolish, not just continually buy down, the budget stabilization factor once and for all, and to fully fund Colorado schools. No more excuses. We have the money, and it is way past time for us to pay off that 12-year-old negative factor IOU. Their legislation will expand educational choice and provide parents and students a pathway toward education alternatives outside of the institutions that are failing them. Senator Priola will sponsor a bill to allow parents to take control of their schools and convert failing schools into public charter schools. And as a reminder, here in Colorado, charter schools are public schools. Senators, beyond this gold dome of groupthink lies a population of people who are nervous about increases in their utility bills, rising crime rates in their neighborhoods, and the quality of their children's education. Those are issues that most Coloradans care most about. To address those concerns, Senate Republicans will introduce a package of legislation, our Commitment to Colorado, that provides direct relief to the people of Colorado, working to bring down the cost of living, secure our neighborhoods, and provide more educational choice to our students. At noon today in the West Foyer, we will unveil those 44 bills for all Coloradans to see. We hope our colleagues across the aisle will give those bills the consideration they deserve. Those bills will not promote a partisan agenda. They will focus on solving the three issues that confront most of the people who you represent. And now, for one last time, at least in general session, Mr. President, let's get to work. Thank you.
The Senate will come back to order. Mr. Majority Leader.
Do we have the resolution? Oh, wait. Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the remarks of the President and the Minority Leader be spread upon the pages of the Journal.
Is there any objection? Seeing none, the motion is adopted. Introduction of bills.
Senate Bill 1, Senators Buckner, concerning crime prevention through safer streets utilizing design management strategies.
Local government.
Senate Bill 2, Senators Janal and Story, Representative Cutter and Will, concerning increasing the resources available for fire protection services provided by volunteer and seasonal firefighters.
Local government.
Senate Bill 3, Senator Buckner, Representative Mullica, concerning permitting community colleges to offer a Bachelor of Science degree in nursing to certain students.
Education.
Senate Bill 4, Senator Rankin, Representative McCluskey, concerning measures to support evidence-based literacy instruction for students in early grades. Senate Bill 5, Senator Bridges, concerning the increase of available funds for law enforcement agency peace officer services.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 6, Senator Colco and Rodriguez, Representative McLaughlin and Snyder, concerning an increase in the amount of sales tax revenue that a retailer may retain to cover the retailer's expense in collecting and remitting the tax.
Finance.
Senate Bill 7, Senators Lee and Story, Representative Cutter and Snyder, concerning outreach to the public relating to wildfire risk mitigation practices.
Local government.
Senate Bill 8, Senators Zenzinger and Priola, Representative McLaughlin and McKean, concerning post-secondary education support for certain students who have been in out-of-home placement.
Education.
Senate Bill 9 by Senators Janal and Heisey, Representative Byrd, Benavides, and Backenfield, concerning catalytic converters and in connection therewith establishing procedures for the evaluation and certification of aftermarket catalytic converters and enacting measures to address the theft of catalytic converters.
Transportation and energy.
Senate Bill 10, Senators Simpson and Lee, Representatives Benavides and Amabile, concerning pretrial diversion programs that are intended to identify eligible individuals who have behavioral health disorders in order to divert them from the criminal justice system into community treatment programs.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 11, Senators Zenzinger and Corum, Representatives Catlin and Esgar, concerning the establishment of the America 250 Colorado 150 Commission.
State Veterans and Military Affairs.
Senate Bill 12, Senator Donovan, concerning versions of the Colorado Constitution.
State Veterans and Military Affairs.
Senate Bill 13, Senator Fenberg and Holbert, concerning requirements for boards and commissions.
State Veterans and Military Affairs.
Senate Bill 14, Senators Moreno, Representative McKean and McLaughlin, concerning the administration of the Colorado Youth Advisory Council.
State Veterans and Military Affairs.
Senate Bill 15, Senator Holbert, Representative Tone, concerning representation of Douglas County on the Board of Directors of the Urban Drainage and Flood Control District.
Local government.
Senate Bill 16, Senator Scott, concerning the governance of the Department of Transportation and in connection therewith, modifying the number of members and manner in which members are selected for the Transportation Commission and requiring the Transportation Commission to select the Executive Director of the Department of Transportation.
Transportation Energy.
Senate Bill 17, Senator Scott and Zenzinger, Representative Basenaker Catlin, concerning the determination that a load of fluid milk products hauled by a vehicle is not a divisible load under the vehicle weight limits permitted by law.
Transportation Energy.
Senate Bill 18, Senators Lee and Cook, Representative Benavides and Soper, concerning expanding the court reminder program.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 19, Senators Winter, Representative Woodrow, concerning access to automatically suppress court records of eviction proceedings.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 20, Senator Gardner, Representative Tipper, concerning the addition of court reporters to the list of professionals who may administer oaths.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 21, Senators Rodriguez and Lee, Representative Benavides and Amabile, concerning the treatment of persons with behavioral health disorders in the justice system.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 22, Senators Lee and Gardner, Representative Snyder and Soper, concerning the enactment of the Colorado Revised Statutes 2021 as the positive and statutory law of the state of Colorado.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 23, Senators Gonzalez, Representatives Bacon and Gonzalez Gutierrez, concerning prohibiting deceptive tactics during interrogation of a juvenile.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 24, Senator Fields, Representative Roberts, concerning changes to strengthen the crime of intimidating a witness.
Judiciary.
Senate Bill 25, Senator Hansen, concerning state capital financing managed by the state treasurer and in connection therewith expanding the types of collateral that can be used to secure such financing and if deemed feasible and in the best interest of the state by the state treasurer after a required study is completed, authorizing the use of security token offerings for such financing.
Finance.
Senate Bill 26, Senators Janal and Kirkmeyer, Representative Basenaker and Rich, concerning an oil and gas operator's sole ability to review and protest property tax.
Finance.
Senate Bill 27 by Senators Smallwood and Rodriguez, Representative Michelson, Janay, and Larson, concerning changes to the prescription drug monitoring program pursuant to the March 2021 audit report issued by the Office of the State Auditor.
Health and Human Services.
Senate Bill 28 by Senators Simpson and Sonnenberg, Representative Roberts and Catlin, concerning the creation of the Groundwater Compact Compliance and Sustainability Fund.
Agriculture and Natural Resources.
Senate Bill 29, Senators Quorum and Donovan, Representative McCormick, concerning water speculation in the state.
Agriculture and Natural Resources.
Senate Bill 30, Senators Donovan and Sonnenberg, Representative McLaughlin and Catlin, concerning the expansion of the Water Resources Review Committee to the Water Resources and Agricultural Review Committee.
Agriculture and Natural Resources.
Senate Bill 31, Senators Jaquez Lewis and Janal Amabile and Representatives Amabile and Duran, concerning prohibitions against taking certain actions that may negatively affect certain native normally wild animals in the subfamily Felinae. 31.
Agriculture and Natural Resources.
Senate Bill 32 by Senators Bridges and Woodward, Representative Kipp and Van Winkle, concerning simplification of local sales and use tax compliance and administration for retailers that make retail sales in local taxing jurisdictions where they have limited physical presence.
Business, Labor, and Technology.
Senate Bill 33, Senators Priola, Representative Cutler, concerning the exclusion of revenues from the sale of certain foods from the calculation of total annual gross sales revenues for the purpose of the limit on the amount of non-alcohol items a retail liquor store may sell.
Business, Labor, and Technology.
Senate Bill 34, Senators Coker and Priola, Representative Byrd, concerning measures to counteract the filing of fraudulent business documents with the Secretary of State.
Business, Labor, and Technology.
Senate Bill 35, Senator Rodriguez, concerning the occupational accident insurance coverage that independent contractors of carriers may acquire pursuant to standards set by the Division of Insurance.
Business, Labor, and Technology.
Senate Bill 36, Senator Garcia and Heisey, Representative Byrd and Van Winkle, concerning a payment to the Statewide Death and Disability Trust Fund to pay benefits for members hired before January 1st, 1997.
Business, Labor, and Technology.
Senate Bill 37, Senator Moreno and Representative Tipper, concerning modifications to the Tony Grampus Youth Services Program.
Education. Message from the House.
The House has adopted and transmits herewith House Joint Resolution 1001 as printed in House Journal.
Introduction and consideration of resolutions. Ms. Cole, will you please read the title to House Joint Resolution 1001 concerning the state address?
House Joint Resolution 1001 concerning a joint Representatives Esgar, Garnett, McKean, Senator Fenberg, Garcia Holbert, concerning a joint session of the House of Representatives and the Senate for the purpose of hearing a message from His Excellency Governor Jared Polis and appointing a committee to escort the governor.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of House Joint Resolution 1001 concerning the State of the State address.
The motion is for the adoption of the House Joint Resolution 1001. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 35 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 0 excused, that motion is adopted. Co-sponsors. Pursuant to the resolution, Senators Fields, Rodriguez, and Woodward are appointed to escort the governor to the State of the State address tomorrow in the House chambers at 11 a.m. Members, will you please join me in welcoming back to the Senate President Kevin Grantham? Announcements. Senator Sonnenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. You're close. It has have to do with the stock show. Ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to just heighten your awareness that the stock show started before session this year. The junior livestock sale is a week from Friday. Myself, along with the chair of the Senate Ag Committee, will be begging and pleading for your contributions so we can help these young people at the junior livestock sale next Friday. Just wanted to give you a heads up. Last year we ended up partnering on several, which helped us expand our scope. So we will see how things go this year, but want to invite you to participate. Thank you.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, as you heard, State of the State is tomorrow in the House chamber at 11 a.m. There will be a chair on the floor for you next to your counterpart, your representative. If anyone is uncomfortable attending in person, the State of the State will also be broadcast on the Senate floor, so you can choose to stay here and watch from the Senate. A couple of announcements on bill introduction deadlines. So Legislative Legal Services has asked me to remind you about the delivery of bills for Friday's bill introduction deadline. Your finalized bills will be delivered to the front desk for introduction unless you ask them to deliver the bill to you instead. So unless you ask your drafter or OLS to deliver the bill to you instead, it will come to the front desk. If you wish to have a bill delivered directly to you, you must have that bill completely finalized with your drafter by 5 p.m. on Thursday, January 13th. So tomorrow, by 5 p.m., you have to have your bill finalized. If your bill is delivered to you, don't forget to turn it into the front desk no later than 4:30 p.m. on Friday for it to meet the deadline. Secondly, once a bill is delivered to the front desk or to you for introduction, it should not be returned to OLS for any changes. Please make those changes at that point by amendment in its first committee after it's introduced. Last, please don't return bills that are delivered for introduction to legal services to add co-sponsors. Co-sponsors can be added by the Senate front desk or enrolling room staff before your bill is sent to the printer. If you have questions about adding co-sponsors after your bill is delivered to you, please contact the front desk and they will assist you with that. Just so folks know, we will be convening at 10 a.m. for the rest of the week. So enjoy it while it lasts. We will be convening at 10 a.m. State of the State tomorrow is at 11, so we will convene at 10 and do whatever business we have here on the floor before we head over to the House chamber to hear from the governor. The Senate will be closed this coming Monday, January 17th, for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And unless there is anything else from you, Mr. President, I move that the Senate adjourn until 10 a.m. tomorrow, Thursday, January 13th, 2022.
You have heard the motion. Is there any objection? Seeing none, the Senate will stand in adjournment until 10:00 hours on Thursday, January 13th, 2022.